All right, I've turned the mic on now. Can everybody hear me in the room? I know you can. Online, are you able to hear me online? I'll just make sure that that side of it's working. You can type into the chat. Yep, I can hear. Nothing yet? Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. So welcome everybody. My name's Helen Harrison. I'm the Deputy Course Coordinator for Medical Science, or our Medical Science programs. There's a number of them now. Normally our course coordinator, Vola Gaganis, would be running this session, but she's had to go on a last minute trip to Singapore. And so I'm running it today. But I do know what I'm talking about, so don't worry. It's not like you're getting a lesser version. But anyway, for those of you online, feel free to just pop questions into the chat. If you can't hear something clearly, please ask away. For those of you in the room, if you've got questions as I'm going through, feel free to interrupt me. I'm more than happy for you to do that. Raise your hand, all those sorts of things. Just yell out if you want to as well. That's not a problem. So what I'll do first is just acknowledge that we're meeting today on the lands of the Kaurna people. I think the people online are likely on the lands of the Kaurna people as well, but if not, I do pay my respects to the traditional owners of the lands that everybody who's listening to this or is currently in this room are meeting on, and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that learning and teaching has happened on these sites for a good many number of years, well beyond when Flinders has actually been here. So, all right, so this is a picture of Associate Professor Vola Gaganis, who I said is a course coordinator for the medical science programs. I'm Helen Harrison, as I've already said, the Deputy Course Coordinator. So today what we're going to do is just talk you through a little bit of information, firstly very general about starting at Flinders and the sorts of things that you might need to organise. Have any of you studied at Flinders previously? No, all new to Flinders? You have? Okay, foundation studies, excellent. Okay, no worries at all. So some of this might be familiar to you, but it's not a bad idea to have a bit of a rehash anyway. So we'll start off very general, university-wide, and then we'll go into the things that you need to know about medical science, and talking a little bit about some of our other kind of programs that we run as well, like mentoring programs and things like that. And then I'll hand over to our Flinders University Medical Science Student Society team, who are here to present as well about the things that the different student society does, some of the professional development workshops that they do, GAMSAT training if you're in this degree heading on a pathway to medicine, and social events and things like that as well. So there'll be a bit of talking, but as I said, feel free to interrupt, ask questions if you need to, and I'll try to skip over some of the things that aren't as interesting. Our contact details are here, and these slides we will put available online, and I'll possibly just email them out to you all as well so that you can have access to them. But essentially, Vola and myself are more than happy for you to come chat with us when you need to, send us emails, ask us questions about your course, about the direction that you're taking, and we both also coordinate topics within the course as well. So obviously you can ask us about topic content once you're in our topics. But as I said, please feel free to contact us if you need to. We are here to answer your questions and here to help you as you navigate your way through medical science. All right, so as I said, first up, we'll just talk about some general Flinders stuff. So that you know about a few different things that are happening around the university and ways to kind of set yourself up for success at university, and then we'll dive down deeper into medical science. So Wi-Fi, you've got access to Wi-Fi throughout the university. Logging into Eduroam will also get you Wi-Fi access to any of the other universities around Adelaide, and you'll notice your phone will kind of say picking up Eduroam, even if you go interstate as well, moving past universities. So to access it, you want to click on the Eduroam network, you use your FAN as your username, and your password is your Flinders password. Generally, once you've signed up to Eduroam, your device will just remember it. It'll click on every single time that you come onto the university grounds. Occasionally, Eduroam has slight little hiccups and stops working. And sometimes some spaces throughout the hospital don't get as good coverage as others, but we're working on that. But most of the teaching spaces, you should have good access to Eduroam all the time. ID card, hopefully you might have done this already, but if not, and again, you will get sent emails and loads of information about this stuff, so just ignore if this isn't currently relevant to you. But essentially you can go to request your ID card by ordering your ID card under the quick links section of Compass. So you can see that here, order, replace ID card. Generally, you can organise all of that online and then you just go pick it up at Flinders Connect. If you don't know where Flinders Connect is, it's up in the main hub. So depending on which way you came to this space today, whether that be through the main entrance of the hospital or some of you might have come through the level 5 entrance, which is just out here, there's actually a tunnel that heads under the road up towards the hub. Then there's loads of stairs. So Flinders is definitely a campus where you end up getting your steps up and get some good cardiovascular activity as you're kind of navigating around the campus. But essentially, if you keep following stairs up, you get to what we call the main hub of the university. That's where you'll find the library, but as I said, Flinders Connect will be there, and that's really a student services centre where you can pick up ID cards, you can ask questions, they can help with enrolment and all of those sorts of things as well. And you'll find the tavern up there, you'll find food, that's important, you'll find food, you know, shops and things like that as well. So I highly recommend the Vietnamese place because that's delicious. So when you sign on to the university system, you'll essentially access what we call Compass, which is your kind of landing platform for university services. And that's where you can actually also click on information to find out how you actually enroll and register in classes. If you need help with that, you can submit a support request via Ask Flinders, or you can call this number. And I'll introduce Carolyn Lake in a minute as well, who's one of our course and enrolment advisors. But there's another email address which you can send an email to that'll bypass that and go straight to Carolyn, who will also be able to help you with some of these things. You may have heard about this already, but the Commonwealth Government introduced this year that all students need what they call a unique student identifier, or USI. If you haven't applied for that already, there's links on the university websites on how to do that, but essentially you apply for a USI and then you let Flinders know what your USI is, and that enables you to maintain your enrolment, make sure that you're still getting Commonwealth assistance and all of those sorts of things. But this number actually follows you around, and what it means is that you will have a record of any university study that you've done anywhere in Australia. So it kind of will keep track of all of that for you and makes it really easy for potential employers and things to be able to find you and see that you have completed the qualifications that you're saying that you have. Now, again, you might have already done this already, but to enrol in topics, you can go to the student system, select the My Enrolment tab, agree to the declaration, then hopefully you should see different topics that are available to you. You can select those ones and then say that you want to enrol in those, save the changes. Once you're enrolled in topics, you can go into the topic and then start registering in classes. So some you'll see they kind of only just have one availability of certain classes, but others, biology and chemistry are good examples, will have multiple different options that you can pick for different practical times, tutorial times, workshop times, all of those sorts of things. So feel free to see whatever suits you. Hello, welcome. You're here for medical science orientation session. You're in the right place. Sorry, we've gotten started, but we're just talking about some general university information, so you haven't missed anything too important yet. All right, but again, if you have any problems with this enrolling and registering side of things, then you can contact myself, you can contact Paula, you can contact Carolyn. We'll be able to help you with this if you're having trouble navigating that system. We have all of your lecture material generally and information about your topics will get put on what we call the learning management system, and it's commonly referred to as Flinders Learning Online or FLOW, but at the moment Flinders is doing a slight transition between two different learning management systems. So you'll hear people talk about FLOW and you'll hear people talk about Canvas. Canvas actually still is FLOW, it's still Flinders Learning Online, but you might have things that navigate between the two different systems. So just be mindful of that. Most of your topics now will be on Canvas, and so you might have started receiving notifications if you have enrolled in topics from topic coordinators already saying, welcome to the Canvas site. You might be able to go in and navigate some of those sites already. If you can't find your topic on Canvas, then you can go and look to see if it's on Flow. But as I said, all of your topics really now should be on Canvas, but we do have a course site, a medical science course site that's still sitting on the other learning management system. Again, you get announcements from that, and you can often just click on the email and that'll take you to the correct place. But again, it's a kind of a bit of a learning exercise for our current students as well to navigate these two platforms. But I think for all of you, just starting on the one platform should make things a little bit easier. Again, you can go onto the orientation planner. There's loads of information currently being held about these different platforms that you'll be using throughout your university life. So if you're not feeling all that confident with it, and many of you might have used similar platforms during high school as well, so it might not be that new to you, but they are running orientation sessions, kind of introducing you to Flow, Canvas, textbooks, all of those sorts of things. So if you check out the orientation planner, you'll find some more information on that, again, if you're not quite sure how to navigate that. Transport. You might have already discovered that coming to the hospital is not necessarily the easiest process, and getting in here can be a little bit tricky, but there's loads of different ways that you can get to Flinders, and again, actually getting to the hospital as well. So you can park, you need a permit. So some students will get a semester permit or a year permit because they're in every day, and that works out to be cheaper. Other students will get what we call just a cello park permit. So you can download the app, and just anytime you're in at university, you say, I'm parking here now, start that app, and that'll be the way to pay for parking. It's not too expensive on kind of, you know, if you're only coming in a few days a week, but it's obviously still a cost that you have to pay. You can catch the train. So there is the Flinders railway station that's kind of down that way. And so you can actually walk up to the hospital from the train station, again, if you feel like walking, but there is also a little connector bus that'll pick you up from the train station, either take you up to the main hub and around the university, or it can bring you a bit closer to the hospital as well. So if you don't feel like walking that far, then there's options there as well. And obviously there's, as I said, this loop bus that will drive between our Sturt campus, our Tonsley campus, and the hospital and the main university. And then there's also loads of public transport options as well. So there's public transport that comes to the main entrance of the hospital, and then you've got to navigate your way through the hospital, which isn't the easiest thing to do, which some of you might have found today. Or you can catch transport up to the university, the main hub, and then walk down and go through a tunnel that goes under the road to be able to come through this level 5 entrance, which sometimes a little bit easier. But there's a Bus Minder app that will give you the timetable and let you know in real time when the loop bus is coming around. So that can be quite useful for directing yourself around the university. There are inclusion and accessibility campus tours. So again, very steep campus, loads of stairs, but there are routes that you can take if you need more help with accessibility, if you're not able to navigate stairs all that readily, all of those sorts of things, if you use a wheelchair sometimes or a walking frame or anything like that. So I do recommend booking in for these tours via the orientation planner, because again, they'll show you the routes that you can take if you don't have very good accessibility, or you just don't want to have to do a massive trek every time you're going between different places around the campus. Scholarships. There's loads of different scholarships that Flinders offers at various times throughout the year. So I definitely recommend going to the scholarships website and taking a look at what's currently open or what's opening soon. Generally, for all of you, you'll be looking at these undergraduate scholarships currently, and then you can look at commencing scholarships currently or continuing scholarships as you work your way through. They're not all based on academic performance. So if you don't feel as if you would warrant or if you would be eligible for one based on your kind of academic performance, there are loads of other criteria as well. So do consider that, or just check in occasionally and see what scholarships are available. So again, there's loads of different scholarships valued at different amounts that are available per year. Sometimes they're given away based on financial needs. Sometimes it is academic merit. But again, loads of different options. Have a look, see if there's any that apply to you. Most don't take very long to apply for. So again, highly recommend doing that on a regular basis. If you experience or witness any unacceptable behaviour, then please do report that to security. Make a note of that phone number, save it in your phone, because security will answer your call 24/7, obviously. The security office is based up in the main hub, and when we're in the Flinders Medical Centre, we often rely more on Flinders security, but the university security will also monitor these areas as well. But again, you can make reports to security. It doesn't necessarily initiate a complaint. It's the first step so that you can get some support, and then you'll be asked if you want to follow on and receive that support to help you do so if you need to. Hopefully that won't happen, but it's nice to be aware that there is the possibility. All right, O Week is obviously this week for the university. As I said, check out the orientation planner, because there are a lot of different tours, workshops, things like that to help get yourself started at university. A lot of library tours and things can be hugely beneficial. Even things like when a topic coordinator says readings list, this is what they mean. Here's how you find it. Here's how you can look at the different textbooks that you need. Here's some study tips, all of those sorts of things, which again can be really useful for setting yourself up. Flinders does have a student association, so that's the general student association that governs all of Flinders. Loads of different clubs and groups that you can join, and student societies that might, kind of align with you and your interests. Great way to make friends, great way to get involved in university life. Good opportunities to get leadership experience if that's something that you want as you're moving through, which is excellent for your professional development and all of those sorts of things, but also just a nice way to do things that you're passionate about. So if you are passionate about performing arts, but you're obviously in medical science, probably not going to get the chance to do a lot of performing arts in medical science, but you can join a group such as the Performing Arts Society and things like that. We've got students that are part of table tennis societies or clubs, political and social justice clubs, all of those sorts of things. And obviously Medical Science Students Association, who will talk shortly. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out FUSA and all that has to offer. We do have at Flinders, just as part of our general orientation program, this program called Unify, which is really a connection program where you can make friends. It's somewhat of a mentoring program, but that's from the university perspective. We do have our own specific medical science mentoring program as well, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Apologies, I said I was going to do a lot of talking starting off. I'll get you guys to talk soon and interact shortly. But it's a great way of just, again, meeting people, forming friendships, developing your confidence, all of those sorts of things. So again, if you're kind of coming to uni not really knowing many people, if you're new to Adelaide and you don't really know people, then I highly recommend taking advantage of all of these different things so you can start building those networks and making friends as you work your way through. Connect Week is another, we have these extended orientation programs at Flinders, and Connect Week happens next week. So that's where, again, we have more different kind of fun activities, but also information sessions that the university runs, so you can really set yourself up for success within your course. So there will be a welcome hub, again, up near the main hub. This is probably more part of the summertime orientation. It'd be nice if this weather kind of comes through, but there will be kind of clubs set up, and again, letting you know what it is they do. Fair days, there's a movie night, quiz night, all of those sorts of things to help you kind of, again, orient yourself within the university, but have fun and start meeting people. Right, top tips for getting started at university. flow.flinders.edu.au will help you in the direction that you need to go to find out a lot about your courses and topics and all of those sorts of things. Ping is the student newsletter, which again will keep you updated with a lot of different things that are happening around the university. That might include things like scholarships that are available or events that are happening, or just different other opportunities that you might like to take advantage of. You can connect with new people and hopefully make some friends with that Unify program that I talked about before. You can follow the socials, so Hey Flinders on Instagram or Ask Flinders at Flinders, or on Facebook, sorry. Join the student association and seek help anytime you need it. So if you go to students.flinders.edu.au/support, that will lead you to a landing page that points out all of the different support services that we have at Flinders, and there are a lot, which I'll talk about in a little bit as well. All right, that's all just the general university stuff. We're going to dive more into medical science now. Is there any questions yet about just general university? Bits and pieces, finding your way around, anything like that? Did everybody find this space easily enough or not so much? No, yeah, it's tough. Once you do it about 5 times, then you kind of know where it is. But it is probably one of the most difficult things, I think, about starting at university and starting in medical science is just finding the spaces within the hospital. And most of us that have worked here still find when somebody says, go to this room, we've got no idea where that is, and it takes us a while to get there. So by finding this space, a lot of your classes probably will be in this space. There are some other lecture theatres as you kind of just next to us is lecture theatre 2, lecture theatre 1 is around that way. And if you follow the corridor kind of going that way, so you turn left as you walk through these level 5 doors, then you can follow that down and there's what we call the MTF. So that's our multi-purpose teaching facility. It's a big lab. And so again, that's where a lot of your topics will be as well. But finding this space will often lead you to be able to finding the other teaching spaces. There is also a medical library, which I don't think I've got in any of my slides, but that's essentially one of the university libraries. One of our library kind of campuses is actually based within the hospital as well. And again, that's pretty much just around the corner from here. If you follow that corridor, you'll see the medical library. And so that's got a lot of the textbooks that you might need. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah, so level 5 and this side, this eastern side, is most of where most of the teaching spaces are. There is one level 4 seminar area, which if you walk out here, there's some stairs heading down. That's where the level 4 seminar area is. So it's still kind of mostly this side of the hospital. Yep. All right, let's talk about medical science. So I mentioned it really briefly before, but most of your topics will be in Canvas. We still have our course site on Flow. And so it looks something like this. You'll have access to that probably now. And when we post announcements here, they will come through to you as an email. But it's our medical sciences general information place. And essentially we share a lot of course relevant information on this site. So these orientation recordings and slides we'll put in this welcome on orientation information section. There is information about careers and employability. There's information about our peer mentoring program, placements as you get through to that point as well. So lots of course relevant information. If we become aware of jobs that become available for students or once you've graduated, we'll post it here. If we become aware of any relevant activities that are happening around the university or within the hospital that would suit medical science students, again, we'll share them on this site. We have within medical science our year level coordinators. So I've already said Associate Professor Vula Gaganis is your course coordinator. I'm Deputy Course Coordinator, but also the Year 1 coordinator. We've got Dr. Stephen Gregory as our Year 2 coordinator and Associate Professor Christine Barry as the Year 3 coordinator. So essentially, you can come to Vula or I for any of your queries. But as you're moving through, you also can speak to Stephen specifically about Year 2 matters once you're in your second year, and to Chris about once you're in Year 3. So we can all help you with information about your topics and which topics you might like to select based on your interests. If you're having personal or academic difficulties, you can speak to one of us about those things, and we can then contact your topic coordinators without sharing any personal information, but just so you don't have to do that to everybody that you're actually having to interact with. We can help you out with information about access plans or elite athlete plans and things like that. So again, there's loads of people that can help you and provide guidance or support or advice as you're moving through the degree. If you do have questions specifically related to your topics, then first port of call would be to ask the topic coordinator about those. So it's your topic coordinators that will be able to help you with how to make an assignment extension request, or submitting your access plan to them so that they know that you're eligible for extensions or eligible to miss certain classes if need be, and all of those sorts of things, any accommodations that you need to be successful within your degree. I should actually tell you what an access plan is if you're not aware. So at Flinders, students can apply for an access plan if you have a chronic health condition that might impact on your studies. And so that health condition might be a medical condition, it could be a mental health condition, it could be a diagnosed learning difficulty that you might have, any of those sorts of things. Even if you have carer responsibilities, you can also obtain an access plan, which again, it's completely confidential. The access plan itself won't state what your condition is, but it will state what accommodations you'll need as you're studying at Flinders. And that then just goes to your topic coordinator, or well, you decide if you want your topic coordinators to have it or not. And then they will make sure that they work and follow those accommodations so that you can, again, be successful within your studies and receive all the accommodations that you need to be successful. But essentially, any topic information, your topic coordinator can help you with. We also have topic representatives in pretty much all of our topics. So if you want some leadership experience or you're really kind of passionate about representing students, you can apply to be a topic representative and then essentially advocate for the rest of your class, or you'll have a topic representative that if you don't feel comfortable speaking to your topic coordinator, you can speak to them and they can share that feedback with the topic coordinator. So you might already be aware of this, but medical science is a really broad degree. It can lead you in loads of different directions. Having said that, that broadness is actually one of the real benefits of it, because it means that you can learn a lot. You can get a lot of different graduate qualities that make you really employable in a number of different areas. But you can also start specialising in more things if you choose to as well. So we do now have majors. I'll talk about them more soon. And that gives you the opportunity to be able to specialise in certain areas. Or you can keep it more flexible and still specialise in certain spaces if you want, or again, keep it really broad. But I think hopefully you've come into this kind of with a bit of an idea of what medical science is and what it does. But I think one of the best examples of how medical scientists are making a real difference has been seen over the past few years with COVID. So we have, as part of our medical science programs, medical science degrees, or we have our laboratory medicine degrees. And both of those fields have been hugely important as we've navigated our way through COVID. So characterizing the virus, finding out how the virus was actually causing so much damage to people's body systems, respiratory system and cardiovascular system primarily, finding out how to develop vaccines, all of those sorts of things were done by medical scientists, by research scientists who would have a medical science degree and have followed that pathway. But then the actual testing and diagnostic work of running the COVID PCRs, developing COVID PCRs, all of those sorts of things were done by our laboratory medicine scientists. So working in places like SA Pathology, ClinPath, Australian Clinical Labs. So again, COVID's a really good example of how medical scientists really solved problems, came to the forefront and helped us as a society kind of navigate our way through. Again, hopefully you've got a bit of an idea of perhaps where you want to go with medical science. If you don't, that's fine too. And that might change as you make your way through the degree and find different things that you're interested in. But I'll talk about some of these different places that you can head. So we have students that start off with our Bachelor of Medical Science, and they might then transfer to lab med if they're kind of going through and go, well, actually, I'm a little bit more interested in diagnostic pathology work. I want to end up running blood tests, urine tests, looking at tissue biopsies, processing those tissues, processing samples, running the tests, all of those sorts of things. And so they might transfer across into our laboratory medicine program. After medical science, you might want to stick with research. And so you might want to just go in and be a technical assistant directly after your degree, or a research assistant, or you might want a little bit more responsibility. So you might do a year honours degree, or you might want to run the lab. So you might want to do your PhD and end up applying for your own funding and being able to really direct your own research pathway. You might want to enter into Flinders' postgraduate medicine program. So we do have an exclusive sub-quota for BMS students to enable them to get into our Doctor of Medicine program. We also have what we call these clinical facing masters programs, which a Bachelor of Medical Science will set you up for really well and allow you to apply for these. And there are some quotas for each of these as well. So we've got a Master of Nutrition and Dietetics, Master of Speech Pathology, Master of Audiology, Master of Occupational Therapy. Those are all located in Flinders, but you can also look to other universities for other pathways as well. We do have some students that have gone into radiology at UniSA. We've got some students that have taken a couple of other topics as well and being able to go into a Master of Physiotherapy as well. So again, really broad, you can head into loads of different directions. We do have some students that head into industry after their degree, which I'll point out soon. So places like CMAX or other clinical trials facilities, they might head into pharmaceutical companies and things like that as well. We used to have a direct transfer into optometry from medical science. We don't have that pathway anymore, but if you finish a year of medical science and decide you do want to go into optometry, you can apply through SATAC and then receive credit for different topics that you've done. So it's not a direct transfer, but you can do that and then you'll still get kind of some acknowledgement for the study that you have done. This kind of highlights, again, some of the different study options for medical science students and then some of the different pathways that our graduates will end up going into. So as I said, medical research, MD, clinical facing masters, or those industry pathways as well. Clinical trials in particular is a really big growth area in South Australia, but also nationally. So again, medical science is setting you up really well for some of these big growth areas within industry that are starting to explode currently in Australia. Here's some of our destinations that our medical science alumni have gone into. So we did a bit of a research project last year trying to identify the different pathways that our students have taken. And you can see some have gone into sales and management. Some have gone into that pathology kind of pathway that I talked about before. So working as technical officers or medical scientists in SA pathology. Some have gone into medical pathways and ended up in a number of different areas from there. Some have gone into those clinical facing masters and so have ended up as physiotherapists or sonographers and things like that. Or you can actually work, again, straight out of university with a Bachelor of Medical Science as a cardiac physiologist or a cardiac scientist, and a couple of other positions as well, a respiratory scientist as well, which isn't on there, but I know that we have had some graduates head that way, and research assistant as well, and heading into those research kind of pathways too. Again, I'll share these notes on these slides on the course site so that you've got all of this information. So if I'm going too fast and it's not sinking in, you'll have access to it. And again, this kind of highlights, you'll see this online if you look at Study Medical Science online, all of these different pathways in the degrees that you're currently in. So we do have a 2-year associate degree that can lead to into the bachelor if you choose to, or you can again go work as a technical officer in a laboratory as a laboratory medical scientist. You can do the 3-year Bachelor of Medical Science. We do have an accelerator program as well. That's not eligible for mid-year entry, but you know, if you're in a position where you think that you could do 5 topics instead of 4, that is a possibility. So you might be able to speed it up a bit, but not really recommended when you're trying to get the most out of university at this point. Laboratory medicine, for those of you that are currently enrolled, is a 4-year program because your entire 4th year is placement in pathology labs. So first semester, second semester, all different placements, learning essentially on the job of how to be a medical scientist. And a lot of our students who are currently in placement are getting jobs with SA pathology, which is a little bit annoying because it makes it harder for them to complete their placement. But again, it highlights how many jobs are actually going in that sector and how our students are actually sought after within those jobs as well. We do have the honours degree, 1-year honours degree that you can do after you complete a medical science degree as well. Again, if you're interested in a research kind of pathway, and then all of these other postgraduate kind of directions that you can head. So I'll show you some study plans in a minute. We do have those family of courses, which all have slightly different study plans. Last year, we developed majors and we've brought them into play this year. So 3 different majors, which I'll talk about shortly, but essentially we've got molecular medicine, which is things like genetics, can lead into pharmacology, biochemistry, We've got human immunology and infectious diseases, so virology, immunology kind of topics, microbiology topics, and we've also got human physiology, anatomy, and neuroscience. Human physiology, neuroscience, and anatomy. So again, you can keep your study plan very flexible, do bits and pieces from all of those different areas, or you might go, I am really interested in this particular pathway, and that's the way that I want to head. And again, that helps you kind of specialize rather than keeping it entirely broad by following these majors. And then obviously we've got our laboratory medicine study plan. It is quite different to the medical science program, which we currently have an application in to get our laboratory medicine degree accredited. And that's why we have to follow a really specific study plan for that. Firstly, so that you meet the criteria of being able to work in SA pathology labs. But if we do get accredited, then that will actually give you qualifications that will see you be employable around the world, basically, as an accredited medical scientist. If you need help or advice with enrolment, which I touched on previously, best bet is to speak with one of our college enrolment and course advisors. And Carolyn Lake is kind of our expert in medical science. Do you want to come up and introduce yourself, Carolyn? There you go.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Carolyn Lake. I'm one of 2 enrolment and course advisors in this college. But as Helen gestured towards, I specialise specifically in that medical science suite of degrees that we've just spoken about. If you have any questions regarding your enrolment or your study plan, your best bet is to email this email address here. What that will do is it'll go directly to my team. When you put in an Ask Flinders request, which is a fabulous service, and please do use that as well, that goes to a central team, and it will take a while to get triaged down to me. So especially at peak times, if you use that general Ask Flinders interface, it could take up to 2 days to get through. So if you want to come straight to us, use that course advice email. If you have any previous study that you think might be relevant to the medical science degree that you're in, so usually at a university level, you should look at our credit policy and get in touch with us to see if you can get any credit towards your degree. If you haven't enrolled yet in your topics, you'll probably notice that you need to select a major to enroll in one of your core topics, which is MMED 1005. That's not particularly intuitive in the student system. If you're having trouble with that, please reach out. That's about it for now, but nice to meet you all.
All right, thank you very much, Carolyn. Yeah, the introduction of new majors has led to some slight tweaking that needs to happen over the next year, I think, with the student system catching up with our plans for what we want to achieve. Essentially, you can go to this website and get some study plans that highlight kind of what we suggest the direction of the different topics that you enroll in should be. But I also have actually printed some copies today as well. So afterwards, feel free to come and help yourself. I've got ones with mid-year entry and each of the majors for our medical science. I've got mid-year entry for laboratory medicine and mid-year entry, which is just the flexible study plan as well. So definitely grab one of those. If you know what major you want to head into, you can grab one of each of the majors so you can see what topics are aligned with that, or the flexible pathway or laboratory medicine, depending on what suits you and what you're interested in. This is an example of a general medical science study plan for mid-year entry. So hopefully you've got a bit of an idea of this already, but if you don't, the topics that we would suggest that you start with are 1007, histology, the building blocks of the human body. So that one you can study online, or you can come in person and go to that MTF lab that I mentioned before, just around there or right down the corridor. And you'll use microscopes to look at different slides and really look at the different cellular structures that make up different tissues. It's a really interesting topic, and honestly, it's fascinating to look down microscopes. You know, I could do that for hours on end. If you have done year 12 chemistry, then we recommend doing chemistry 1A in this first semester that you're studying. If you haven't done year 12 chemistry, what you have to do is general chemistry in semester 1 next year, and then chemistry 1A down probably either in semester 2 or semester 1, because that one is in both semesters, somewhere else within your study plan. And again, if that doesn't make sense, you're not really sure, speak to myself or Carolyn, and we can absolutely help you with that either today or at some point in the future. The other topic that we recommend you take in semester 2 is 1005, How Your Body Works. I coordinate that topic. That one's fully online in semester 2. I do run an in-person version in semester 1, but for your study plan, it probably suits you more to do it in semester 2 now, so that next year you're setting yourself up to be able to do some of those year 2 options and some of the major topics if you decide to pick a major as well. But these are essentially the core topics that we require you to do, these ones in bold. So molecular basis of life, a biology topic. Skills for medical scientists, we've got 1, 2, and 3 of those different topics. How your cells work, molecular biology, biochemistry, human physiology. So you can see it's kind of a real selection of really foundational science kind of topics that then give you a good overview. And then your year 3 option topics and some of those year 2 options will be where you'll start specialising and really kind of delving into more detail into some of those different areas. Again, we'll share this. It's got all the links to different pieces of information that will help you understand those different majors and the study plans and all of those sorts of things. So finding the different majors, if you do want information, Flinders, all of our topic and course information is held on this site called Handbook. So if you go to Flinders University Handbook, I will say Flinders website, horrendous. Much better, rather than searching within the Flinders website, go to Google, search something with Flinders at the end of it, and that'll take you there more clearly than what just searching through Flinders will do. There's work currently being done to make that website more navigable. It's currently just not. So Google, but with Flinders on the end, and you will head in the right direction. So go Handbook Flinders, and you'll come to our home site for Handbook, and then you can search for different courses and topics up in this window, and that'll help you find it. Once you find the medical science handbook, and likewise there'll be one for laboratory medicine too, make sure you click on the 2023 version because that'll have your course rule. So the rule that you kind of need to follow to study through. And then from there, you'll see a program of study. It'll tell you what's available in year 1, 2, and 3. And then you can see the different majors as well. If you choose to do a major, you don't have to. But then clicking on each of those majors will take you to that site that then tells you what topics are involved with that, what the aim of that major is, learning outcomes, things like that, that can be really helpful in kind of determining if you want to do one of those majors, or again, if you want to keep it more flexible. So this is highlighting the program of study for that. Which one was that? Immunology and infectious diseases. So 1005 you have to do across all of the different majors, but then also in our flexible pathway as well. And then we do have topics like virology, introduction to human molecular genetics, human immunology and infectious diseases, point of care testing, biochemistry for human disease, pathophysiology and medical virology, immunology and immunopathogenesis. Really interesting topics if that kind of area appeals to you. This is physiology and neuroscience and anatomy. So again, you can see a lot of physiology topics, neuroscience topics, and then some anatomy topics in year 3. Again, really interesting topics. I coordinate How Your Body Works. I also coordinate integrative human physiology. They're the best topics. I'm not biased at all. That, again, if you're interested in how the body works, you know, how your muscles work, how your body systems actually help you to function, then this kind of major might interest you. If you're more interested in the things you can't see that go on very much at a cellular level, and essentially, you know, you require complex machines to be able to decide what's actually going on, then molecular medicine might be the direction that you want to head. And again, some of the topics overlap with immunology and infectious diseases, but then you go more into more detail for genetics or pharmacology, and then some biotech topics as well. And another really interesting topic, hematology and transfusion science. So really learning about kind of cellular processes and how that helps our body to function, but then also what happens when things go wrong. If you're enrolled in laboratory medicine, so that's that one where you're going to be heading to a pathway of working in SA pathology, Australian clinical labs, ClinPath, things like that. Your study plan is a lot more fixed. There's less option topics that you can do, but it's a really interesting and broad kind of diversity of the different topics that you are exposed to as you move through your degree. So again, some similar topics in terms of histology and how your body works, and then biology, things like that. But then you need to do hematology and transfusion science and some of these other topics. Big difference is this entire 4th year of placement, working in assay pathology labs. We also do have placements with ClinPath and Australian Clinical Labs. Some of those placements can be done in Adelaide, some of them can be done regionally. So if you're interested in going to Murray Bridge or Victor Harbour or Renmark or Mount Gambier for a semester, that's absolutely an option, and there are scholarships available to support that. We're currently working with assay pathology to develop a scholarship where you get a stipend, so some money to do that 4th year, but then you also get a guaranteed year job after that in a regional placement. So if you're interested and pretty happy to travel around, again, something to look into, because a year guaranteed job after finishing studying is not a bad idea. So professional placement, you'll be working in some of these kind of labs. You'll recognise some of these people from some of the photos I've shown you already. So again, working in assay path, ClinPath, clinical labs, and really doing all that hands-on work and learning how to be a medical scientist. Some of it obviously is not quite as advanced as the actual medical scientists working there, but a lot of them will really set you up so that you can finish the degree and jump straight into a job in those labs and know exactly what you need to do. So some of the different disciplines that you can work in are things like anatomical pathology, chemical pathology, genetics and molecular pathology, hematology, immunology, microbiology and infectious diseases. So loads of different labs with really interesting bits and pieces. Just let me have a drink, I'm talking too much. You can just read this quickly, but this is the story of Hannah, one of our medical science students who actually has gone into laboratory medicine and had a really interesting experience. Just let me have a quick drink. I'll give you a minute to just read that. All right, and we do have another one here as well. As I said, I'll share these online, so don't feel as if you have to read it now. Both of these students have actually started off doing a medical science degree and have transferred across into laboratory medicine, and you know have done that knowing that that's kind of more the area that they want to head into. But we also will make it available, so you'll be able to go see some of the placement presentations that these students have to do. I'm just sitting down so you can read this. And then, you know, that again might help you kind of go, if you're in laboratory medicine, yes, I'm in the right direction. Or if you're in medical science, or maybe I'm interested in moving across to laboratory medicine. As a laboratory medicine student, you also can move out into our medical science as well. So there's flexibility and transfer pathways available across both of the different degrees. All right, another excellent site is something that assay pathology's just set up, is Labs Unlocked. And so again, I'll share this online so you can click on these and it'll give you a bit of a run through of some of the different labs around the place and what sorts of things that they do. Again, just to help get a bit of information about where you might be headed if you are doing a laboratory medicine degree. Now, if you're doing laboratory medicine, when you do go into placements, you will need clothing. And so you can see that there's a couple of cheaper options, slightly more expensive options, but it'll essentially have that you're a medical science laboratory medicine student on there. Again, it's a requirement of assay pathology to have that uniform. But we also have a uniform if you choose for just medical science as well, but that's not a requirement. Another thing to tell you about, standing up too much, is Learning Without Borders. And so that's where if you're interested, I'm going to come and sit down here. If you're interested in doing an international placement, you can do that with Learning Without Borders. So we have some relationships with certain universities around the place that you can go and study at, and you don't have to pay international student fees. We've got a relationship with that university where Flinders, you'll still just pay your money to Flinders, but you can study there if you choose to. And if you go to those websites, you'll see a list of different universities that we have relationships with, particularly in the health area. And if you pick some topics that we can then give you credit for, you just do some study overseas and come back and you've got those topics towards your degree. So if you're interested in traveling throughout your degree, use hasn't been possible for a few years, obviously, but now the borders have all opened up again, so it's definitely possible. And again, that can be a really excellent experience if you want to kind of expand your horizons a little bit more throughout the degree. All right, wow, there are a lot of slides here. Research opportunities. So again, for those of you more in the medical science stream and you're interested in research, finding things out, solving problems, just, you know, gaining some experience in that research space, there are a number of different opportunities to do that. And most of those are through FIMRI, our Health and Medical Research Institute. And so it's actually also FIMRI that's building the brand new building over there. You might see near the train station, our Health and Medical Research Institute building. Now that building is going to essentially open up, I think at the end of this year, but it's going to have state-of-the-art facilities which will attract more researchers to Flinders, and that creates more opportunities for you as students to do placements but also get employment afterwards as well. So a couple of different ways that you can take part in research opportunities. We've got our summer research awards, so essentially small little research projects which you can get paid to do throughout the summer, generally open for second year students and not first year students, but second and third year students can take advantage of those. We've got our third year professional placement topics. So LabMed has a full year placement. Medical science, if you choose to, you can do a semester long placement in a lab. And so that takes place of 2 topics. It's a 9-unit topic. Rather than you doing 4 topics a semester, you would do that placement and then 2 other topics. And we've got booklets, which essentially you can pick through and pick a supervisor. If they have capacity, they can take you on. You can do this semester long placement. Again, get real hands-on experience of working in a lab. That means that if you go for a job in a lab afterwards and you can say, I've already worked a semester doing this work, I know how to use that equipment, I know how to do those techniques, that's going to make you really employable. It can also help you get a bit of an idea of working in that research environment if you might want to head down that way, but you're not entirely sure, or I know I want to do honours, I'm thinking about doing it in this lab. You do your research placement there, you either love it and go, yes, I'm definitely going to apply it for honours in this lab, or I didn't like working in that lab. I, didn't really like the work I was doing. I'm going to think of somewhere else to do honours. So it's a great taste of research, and again, giving you experience and opportunities to then set yourself up as you move through the degree. Right. As a student, there's loads of different professional development opportunities as well. So once you've completed the Skills for Medical Sciences topic, which is a first year topic, you all will do it next year in semester 1. You then can apply to be a facilitator for the following year, and that's a paid opportunity. You can be a peer mentor, which I'll talk about shortly. You can undergo the Horizon Award, which is a university program that we do, and there's also loads of different career opportunities. We also have these employability roadmaps, which we've developed over the past couple of years. So again, I'll share these online. I'm feeling a bit dizzy. I'll share these online, but essentially if you use a QR code or you click on that QR code, that'll take you to a website that shows you these employability roadmaps that we've developed. And so essentially what that is in first year, in first year, you can, it'll talk you about different things that would be recommended for you to do in first year that'll enhance your university experience and enhance your employability. And then same for lab med. So there's one for medical scientists and one for lab med. Go forward. Thanks, Carolyn. Sorry. Yeah. I think I'm talking too much, so I'm not breathing enough. Okay, there's also leadership opportunities, which I've already touched on in terms of becoming a topic representative within your topics. You'll see call outs from your topic coordinators probably coming out this week or next week. If you're interested in being a topic rep, contact your topic coordinator, find out more, and then nominate yourself to be a topic rep. Oh, never ending. There's loads of careers info as well. As you can see, we've really worked hard to make sure that our medical science students are given as many opportunities as possible, but are really aware of everything that's going on around the university that can support your success within this degree and beyond. So our medical science careers info is really useful. You can follow those links there. It takes you to a medical science careers pack, which actually talks you through how to write a resume, how to write a cover letter, different jobs that are available and going in medical science currently, and all of those different things. So again, I really encourage you to check that out early so you can start thinking about the sorts of things that you want to put into your resume as you're moving through. Next slide. That pretty much says what I've already said, so you can skip forward. We do have within medical science prizes, and so at each year there's the opportunity to apply for or nominate for different prizes. We do have academic excellence prizes, so that goes across your entire 3 years of your degree or 4 years if you're a lab med student. We do have a medical science prize for research excellence, so that goes to a student who's worked in one of those placements and essentially gotten the highest score within that placement environment. And it also takes into account their skills for medical scientists 3 topic score as well. We do have a prize for social accountability. So we're trying to step away from not only awarding students based on academic performance, but thinking about other things that you've done throughout your degree or within your life outside of university that is actually really important in making a difference as well. Because as I've tried to say, that's really what medical science is all about, is making a difference for the community, making a difference for the population and people around us. And then there's also a student prize for university inclusion and support. So that one is where you can nominate some of your peers as you get to know them as you're moving through, for somebody that's done a lot to help support you as you've navigated your way through university. So again, if you are interested in receiving a prize but don't think that you would be eligible on academic merit, think about the ways that you support your friends and your peers and your colleagues as you're moving through. Think about what you're doing outside of university or for the university in terms of social accountability, and you can really move through there and be eligible for that. All right, so as I said, normally Vula would have run all of that part and I would have come in and just done this part. I'm just really going to talk about my role as first year coordinator and our peer mentoring program, and then we will move on and you can talk to the Fumes team and they will talk us through things, and then we can answer any questions that you've got. Next slide. Actually, I think what I will do, so first up what I've got is a poll. So if you go to menti.com or just use that QR code, you can access Mentimeter, and then we'll just run through a few questions. So I'll get you to think and to talk firstly as well. This is great. It is. I think that's what it is. It's warm and feels very close. All right. If you don't have that, that's okay. If we just go here, you can go see up here menti.com and using the code 81016556. So feel free to start adding some things about how you're currently feeling about the course. And there's some other questions as well. I'll just wait a minute to allow you to put some more stuff on. Essentially, if people write the same thing, that word gets bigger. So you can see, I think a number of people are saying that they're feeling a bit nervous, completely normal. And obviously, as I said, it means that more than one person has written that. So it's not just you that's feeling nervous. It's something that's very common with students as they first start out. Exhilarated, that's exciting. I'm glad to see that. Lost, again, pretty normal to feel, I think, as you first start out, particularly just navigating the building, but also a bit lost about where you're headed and what's going to happen over the next few years. Anyone still writing some answers? Wait a little bit longer. Don't know, also normal to kind of be a bit meh. Maybe I'm okay with this, maybe I'm not. That's fine. Excited is great. Keen, good. Passionate, happy, curious, excellent. You will go very far with curiosity at your side and feeling curious about how things work and what's happening. Stress is not so good. I'm sorry to hear that. And again, if that feeling of being stressed continues beyond today, beyond the week, organise the time to meet with us and we can chat, talk you through things and hopefully help decrease that feeling of stress. All right, I'll move along. The next question is, what are you hoping to do after your degree? If you've got an idea, where are you hoping to head by using this medical science degree or laboratory medicine degree? I should say the people online, you'll be able to do this as well if you do go to menti.com and use that code. So hopefully, I think they must be good. This is not unusual. As I think I've said, a lot of students do come into medical science with the pathway of going into postgraduate medicine afterwards as an option that they're hoping to do. As I've already said, we do have that subquota that can help you get into medicine. So it is an excellent pathway setting you up for postgrad medicine. Things to keep in mind is not everybody gets into medicine. It's not a straightforward, you know, it's challenging to do everything that you need to do to be able to get into medicine. Some students don't get in first time, but then do the next time that they try. So again, if you don't get in first time, it doesn't mean you'll never get in. You know, there's loads of students that either then go and do an honours year or go do something else, work for a year and then apply again and get in the next time that they apply. It's not the be all and end all if you don't get in the first time. And the students that really, really want to and are going to do everything they can to get in terms of looking at other opportunities around the place, you know, often it might take a few more years, but you will get in. And even if it's not at Flinders, it might be elsewhere around Australia as well. I don't know. Again, loads of students come in going, I've got no idea what I want to do after the degree. Again, that's where those the careers information, professional development workshops, all of those sorts of things can really help you either solidify your ideas as you move through or at least give you those extra skills so that you can really have a lot of different graduate qualities that will make you really employable when you do finish or give you more opportunities to keep those options open after you finish as well. Does anybody want to say what it is that they're thinking of doing afterwards if it's not up here? Yep. Paramedics, yeah. So we certainly have, it's not, again, a direct transfer pathway, but it is a pathway. So you can come out, reapply to SATAC, or you don't have to come out of the degree. And there are a number of students this year who are in paramedicine who did Bachelor of Medical Science last year. So it's definitely an achievable pathway. All right, have you been to university before? So some yes, most no, and a couple of students have either done foundation studies or extension studies. The reason I ask this is because some students come in feeling as if everybody else knows what's going on and as if everybody else seems to have, you know, experience at university and feels really confident. And it's just not the case. Most people haven't been to university before. Most people, even if they're better at faking it, will be slightly daunted about all the process and everything that's going on. So We do have a really diverse range of students that come into this degree, loads of different experiences and pathways that they've taken to be able to get into the degree. But, you know, you're not alone if you haven't done any university study, if you're feeling very new, and if you're feeling a bit daunted by it all, because there's loads of other people that are in that same position as you, and you're benefited by that diversity. So some of those students who have been to university before, they could become your network. They can kind of help you navigate your way through, so that you can, again, kind of benefit from their expertise. Do you know anyone else starting this degree at the moment that you haven't met today? So again, you can see most of you don't know somebody else in this degree. If you are lucky enough to know somebody, again, the reason I show this is that a lot of people can seem as if they have ready-made friendship groups. They've come in, they know everybody, and it's just not the case. A lot of you won't know each other, and so it's really useful then to join the student society or attend your peer mentoring meetings and all of those sorts of things to start getting to know people. Where you can attend your classes at the scheduled time so that you get to interact with your peers as well. Because I do find that just starting to develop those networks and get to know people does make it a slightly more enjoyable experience, depending on your circumstances. Some people go, you know what, I work full time, I got a lot of friends, I don't need to make friends at uni, and that's completely fine. But it can be helpful in terms of just having some people that you can contact to say, what do I might need to do for this assignment? Did you understand that? You know, she talks really fast. What is she saying? Could you help me out? Things like that. And it just can be really beneficial to get to know people as you're moving through. All right, I think this might be the last question, apart from offering you an opportunity to ask questions if you have them. Do you feel that you know everything about uni already and you won't have any problems? All right, so quite a diverse group of responses here, but I would say those people saying help, try and find the people saying that they know everything and won't have any problems, and then, you know, you can learn from them. But I said it before, if you're still feeling like help and, oh my goodness, I don't know what's happening, I feel really lost, if that still is the kind of feeling that's sitting with you, the end of this week, as you go into next week, organise a time to meet with me and we can absolutely chat about it and hopefully help you feel more on track and not quite so worried about getting started. But as I said, again, joining a peer mentoring group, if you're with those people that know everything and won't have any problems, amazing. You can learn from them, you can get some of their confidence and move with them throughout the degree. All right, any questions that anybody has, you can post them here. Obviously, we've got more opportunity for questions later as well. All right, I might come back to that. So if you do have questions, you can always just ask them and we can always jump back on later and check if any questions have come through. All right, so my role as first year coordinator is really to provide support, to help you with advice and information and all of those sorts of things and give you any guidance if you are having difficulties with the course or with university, help you if things get tough. So if you're kind of thinking of like, oh my goodness, I cannot navigate this, I'm going to have to drop out, come organise a time to meet with me and I will be able to either help you think about other pathways that you could take, help you consider whether dropping a topic might be useful, or are there other courses that you might like to go into that might be more suited to you, all of those sorts of things, all just to have a chat. And sometimes just having a chat through things can really help you navigate those a whole lot more and see them a little bit more clearly. So that's kind of my role. I also coordinate a MedSci peer mentoring program, which I'm going to talk about shortly. Now, in Flinders, we do have a student common room. It's got couches, it's got some kitchen facilities. It is room 4E109 and there's an access code 9014. That room it looks like it's more for medical students. It's not. If it's any students that are studying in Flinders can use that room. So don't feel like you're not able to utilise it. It's essentially downstairs and near the cafe. So there is a cafe downstairs called the Market Cafe, I think it is now. It's right next door to that. So essentially there's stairs that head near this entrance here. There's stairs that head down. You can cross across the level 4 seminar area and there's a corridor. You'll come out near this room, or you can move around the corridor and see stairs heading down to level 4 and find it that way as well. Try and organise Claire, who's one of our peer mentors, to give you a tour of that during one of your mentoring sessions so that she can help you find all these different spaces. Or if we have time, I can walk you around after this as well. Now, I haven't really talked about some of these different support services available around the university, but there are loads of support services. So I said before, we do have that student support portal that'll talk to you. It'll kind of come up with all of these different headings, and you can click on any of those headings to find out the different support services that are available. So we've got counselling services that are free within the university, hugely beneficial. The thing that some students don't know, they're not only there for if you're in crisis and things are tough, they are there if you want to do better and things, things just aren't quite going as well as what you would like them to do at university. So the counselling services can help with things like motivation and procrastination, managing work-life balance, all of those sorts of things. It's not only if you're really struggling. So just keep that in mind. And that's really the case with any of these support services. They're here to help you do your best, not to just kind of come in and help you when you're at your worst. There is a blog by Gareth, one of our psychologists at the university, which I've got the link there for, where he talks about a lot of really useful tips and tricks to helping maintain your well-being as you're in university and helping you, I guess, again, just work at your best and find out about different things that are going on around the university as well. Oasis is I guess it's a well-being centre within the university, but it also kind of has a focus on networks and community and spirituality and just support that you can access. So there is an on-campus site that you can go to. They do free food days. They do market days where you can buy cheaper food. You can go make yourself coffee there, use the facilities and things like that. But they also have online services as well. They do run yoga through Oasis as well, and even little bushwalking groups and stuff. So again, loads of different things that they offer. But as I've already said, all of these support services are there to help you when things are tough, but they're actually also there to help you to get the most out of university. So one of the problems that we don't know what you want to do. We don't know if you feel like you're not doing well. And so we might go, but you're getting a distinction. What are you worried about? And you might go, no, but I think I should be getting high distinctions. How do I do that? These support services can help you do that. It's not only for if you're failing, it can be for helping you maximize your success. FUSA we've already talked about. They can give you not only ideas about what clubs and societies are around, but they can offer financial support. They can offer advocacy. If you've got a complaint that you want to lodge against something that's happened within the university, FUSA is a great place to start with that. They can help you with appeals if you're not unhappy with a grade that you've received. They can also help with applying for scholarships. If you have personal circumstances come up while you're studying, and that means that you fail a topic, they can help you apply for remission of fees. So sometimes your personal circumstances, say, you have some sort of loss in your family or you get really ill, all of those sorts of things, you can actually apply for that topic to be gone from your topic load. So you can get your HECS reversed for that topic if you're Commonwealth supported, if you're getting HECS, so that then you're not having to pay for a topic that you weren't actually able to complete because of some sort of personal circumstance, as I said. And that then also converts that topic to what we call a WN grade, a withdraw no fail, which doesn't impact your GPA, compared to a fail grade, which does impact your GPA. So there's different ways. If life gets in the way of study, there are ways that we can help support that so that it's not costing you in terms of the pathway that you want to head down. Student Learning Support Service, excellent service, loads of different supports available. You can drop in and speak to a learning advisor. They can give you tips and tricks about how to start assignments, what resources you should be looking at, academic integrity, if you're not quite sure what that means or how to navigate that, all of those sorts of things. Student Learning Support Service are excellent. And again, they will help you do your best. It's not just for if you're not passing. They can help you maximise your success at university. Finding your way at Flinders, you will all be enrolled into this topic as you start university. You should see it on your Canvas dashboard. It's a great topic that helps you work through a lot of the different new terminology that you'll learn about at university, what we mean when we say tutorial or workshop or practical or learning outcome requirements, all of those sorts of things. Excellent to help you kind of navigate all of that, but then also learn different tricks and shortcuts that can help you study as well. So I really recommend having a look through that, working your way through so that you can find out again about how to get the most out of university and set yourself up right from the start. I've already talked about health counselling and disability services, but they're there. Do reach out to them if you need them. There is an after-hours crisis support line. We do have a just medical centre as well, so you can go see a doctor and make appointments through that. Again, completely free as a university student. I mentioned access plans before. If you do have a diagnosed disability, chronic health condition, mental health condition, speak with a disability advisor about setting up an access plan. And as I said, that'll really help you through. Repeat yourself all the time. I mentioned Oasis before, but here's some of the different things that they do. Highly recommend that you check them out as well. And essentially loads of other support services around the place. So we do have Yungarenthi, which supports Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. There are prayer rooms around the place, different conversation groups, equal opportunity advisors. So again, if you feel that you've been discriminated against because of something that, goes against equal opportunity policies within the university, there are advisors that you can speak to about that and to help you put in a complaint or just to help you understand if something has actually been done that's caused discrimination against you. We do have the Pride Network and different LGBTQI groups around the place. Good Vibes Experiment, which is an excellent kind of wellbeing kind of activity and pathway. There's a Flinders University Students with Disabilities Association and a Flinders Neurodivergent Study Support and Advocacy Group. Both of those excellent resources for, again, if you do have a diagnosed disability or an undiagnosed disability as well. Mentoring program. I'm going to go through this really quickly because I've talked way too much and this is getting boring. But essentially, we run this program in a much larger capacity in semester 1 because we have a much larger intake. In semester 2, essentially we have one mentor at the moment, but I think that should be enough to suit all of you and all of the incoming students. But essentially it's a program that we run where you'll be contacted by a mentor. Hopefully you'll be able to find a suitable time that you can all meet up, and you'll meet with that mentor weekly from weeks 1 to 6 and then fortnightly after that. But essentially your mentor can help you, again, answer your questions about how university works, help give you some tips and tricks for as you navigate your way through. So they've got information that should be really specific to that particular week that you're studying. So week 1, how do you find your lectures? What assessment items do you need to do straight away? All of those sorts of things. And as you move through, how do you get help with your assignments? Where can you access different resources and all of those sorts of things? The other good thing about mentoring groups is that then you meet with other students as well. You form a network. It's a great way of making friends, but it can be really supportive. So it's designed to really assist your transition into university, get used to university life and all of that means. Understanding of policies and procedures, where you can find those different support services, sharing some of their academic survival tips. So things that can help you. You get to learn from their mistakes. You don't have to make your own mistakes. They can share all the different ways that they stuffed up when they started, and all the ways that they, learnt how to make the most out of university. And again, it can really help build your social confidence and your self-confidence in social networks. again, the reason that they're good at what they do and that they can provide you support is it wasn't that long ago that they were sitting in your position and starting out and probably feeling a bit lost and nervous and all of those sorts of things. So they understand the first year student lifestyle, expectations, what it's like navigating all these different systems, all the emails that you're suddenly going to get bombarded with, all of those sorts of things. Student etiquette. So, you know, how do you act like a medical science student? How do you write an email appropriately to a topic coordinator? You know, those sorts of things that you could start thinking about that help develop your student identity, your professional identity. And again, as I said, they know it because they've been there. And like I said, you can learn from them. So how do you get involved? It's an opt-out program. So your mentor I will email you with your mentor details, and your mentor will email you to hopefully work out a time, place, location that you can start meeting up with them. There's often the opportunity to be able to meet online as well if in person doesn't work for you. Then essentially you just rock up and attend the meetings. So like I said, they're weekly, weeks 1 to 6, fortnightly after that. If you can't attend any meetings, not a problem. Just touch in and out as it suits you. If you get to week 6 and you haven't been to any, you are absolutely still welcome to attend, and you will still benefit from doing so. So Claire is a medical science mentor for semester 2. Claire's a Bachelor of Medical Science student, and we'll also try and see if we can find some lab med students as well who can be mentors for those of you that are going into lab med, just to specialise it a little bit more and again help you build your networks within your degree. All these orientation videos, maybe not this one that I'm sitting down, apologies online if you can't see me, will be available online, but there's also other videos that are again really useful for setting yourself up and learning about different things happening at the university. So all the ready to go videos will be available. There'll be some videos from student clubs and just clubs in general and how to get involved. Some of the introduction to wellbeing services, all of those will be available at that orientation site online. And now I will pass over to Fumes to talk about the Student Society. Do you want this one? Use mine? All right, I'll turn off. The wayfinding videos are outside of this. Oh, okay, you can do that if you like. Yeah, I know. It's too hot there.
Just find it.
Hey everyone, we hope you're enjoying the orientation so far. Welcome to the Flinders University community. Today we're here to talk to you about the Flinders University Medical Science Society, or FUMES.
All right, hello everyone, I'm David. I'll just briefly be talking through some of our goals here at FUMES and what we do as a committee. So just briefly, our committee aims to create camaraderie and unity among all the students within the medical science family. We are the link between the students in our degree and the academic staff. So essentially what this means is that we're always looking for ways to improve the student experience by giving student feedback directly to the academics, where hopefully they can act upon that feedback. We also organise a whole lot of fun and beneficial events throughout the year, which we'll be discussing in just a moment. And perhaps most importantly, we provide a means for you to go out and make friends with your peers. I really cannot overstate the importance of having good friends in university who you can look to for support and have a good time with. Even being a traditionally independent learner myself, I can say for sure that without my friends, I would not have performed as well as I did in first, second, and now third year.
You might have heard David say students in the medical science family. Well, that's because of this, and I know Helen's already spoken to this as well, but FUMES is the society that represents these 5 degrees. So this is me. I'm Jason, and I'm the president of Fumes for 2023. I encourage you to take a photo of my email so that you can ask me any questions that you might have, and I'm always more than happy to help.
Yep, this is me. I'm David. I happen to be the vice president of Fumes for 2023. This is my second year running as vice president, so please come to me if you need any help with anything. If you're ever looking for me, I basically live in the medical center or the health sciences building, and I'm pretty much at uni all day, every day. So please come speak to me.
As you can see, we have a decent sized team who are all available to help you throughout your degree. While all these positions in the committee are currently filled, each year a new committee is elected. So keep a lookout on our social media to hear announcements about when you can apply for these positions for the 2024 committee. Our social media pages are in the bottom right of this slide.
Here at Fumes, we love to have a good time, and we have some fun events lined up throughout the year for you guys. We've already had our barbecue and social night, but our biggest events are yet to happen. Next week, Friday, we will have an event called Getting Your Study Plan Sorted, which is a rundown of majors you can choose as a Bachelor of Medical Science student and the topics involved in each of those. We then have a pub crawl planned for September the 15th. This is going to be the chance for you to forget about your final exam for a few hours. It's actually our largest event of the year usually, so it's a great opportunity to make some friends with people in our degree and across the university. Keep a lookout on our socials to see when you can buy your tickets. We are currently designing the teas. Last but not least, we have the MedSci Ball. So this is just your typical ball where you can dress up nice and fancy, enjoy some food, drinks, hang out with your friends. We don't really know where this is being held just yet, but 2 years ago it was held at the Adelaide Town Hall, and last year it was at the Ellington, just to give you some idea of where it could be held this year.
As mentioned, we have an event next Friday in this room from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The event is called Getting Your Study Plan Sorted, and it targets first and second year medical science students. The event will open with multiple mini presentations representing the new majors of the medical science degrees. Following the presentations, you have the opportunity to talk to your year level coordinators, topic coordinators, and the Bachelor of Medical Science course advice team for advice on how to proceed with your studies. This event was created to help you figure out what you want to do with your degree and gives you the opportunity to ask academics about their topics and majors. We believe this is a very useful event and we hope to see you there. So yes, one person's got the right idea. Feel free to scan the code. I think these slides will be uploaded to the Flow site anyway. So yeah, register for the event and come along. Yes, there's also free lunch. Although we really push the social aspects of uni with all of our events, we're also here to provide you, we're also here for you on an individual basis. We can provide you with study tips and tricks from our personal experiences. We relay any and all feedback about the degree to the academic staff. We're here to make you feel at home within the university. We're here to escalate any of your concerns because if you're having issues, it is likely that others are too. And finally, we want to give you the best university experience. As you have seen, we hold events that promote socialization between students, and we can put you in contact with people that have experience in this degree.
At this point in the presentation, we invite you to get your phone out because we have a few QR codes here. So Fumes has a number of social media pages on Instagram and Facebook, which you can reach by scanning these QR codes. I'll give you a moment just to scan those if you wish. If not, then you can see the name of our socials just above the QR codes. Yes, so we usually just use these pages to announce events, merchandise, promote opportunities for students to receive academic support. So yeah, please go chuck us a follow.
Now enough promotion and back to the orientation side of this presentation. As you can see, this place is huge. As we were once first years, we understand the struggles of finding your classes in a safe way. So the next few slides are a quick tour videos taking you to the Biology Discovery Center and then to the Flinders Medical Center, which is where you are right now, via safe routes. We apologize in advance for any wind in the videos. So first up is Biology Discovery Center. it because the next part is a wind tunnel, so it does get more windy. Essentially, we're walking down the stairs to the far lab, which is where most first years will have their labs for bio. So normally your bottom floor back is the biggest lab on the floor. Next, we're taking you down here through the tunnel that Helen previously saw.
Okay, thank you for watching our presentation. We wish you all the best in this degree, and we hope you're excited to come to our events and take part in the full university experience.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason and David. That is really all that we have to present you for today. But essentially what I do have, as I said before, is some study planners up the front. I've got show bags for those of you that I haven't given them out to yet, and I will write down your names so that we know that you've attended today as well. But feel free to come and speak to me if you've got questions. Speak to Carolyn, speak to Jason, David and Kristen at the front as well. They're more than happy to chat to you about their experiences so far in the degree, different topics that they've done. Part of the Student Society as well, they do have a relationship with Frasers, which is a company that helps with training for GAMSAT. So again, if your idea is to try and move into that medicine pathway afterwards, joining the society and taking advantage of some of those workshops can be really useful as well. Any questions before I finish up online or in the room? As I said, you can ask me in person as well. No, does everybody feel like they've got a bit more of an idea about the degree? Yeah? All right, awesome. And as I said, definitely, or as Jason and David were saying, definitely come along to that event next week. Take advantage of some free food, and you'll be able to learn more there as well. But I will get Claire, the peer mentor, to contact you as well. And we will be in contact more throughout the semester and heading into the start of your university life here with us at Flinders. But thanks very much for attending today. You know, again, you're heading in a direction of a really, really interesting next few years, but please do reach out if you do need any more help or support as you're moving through. Thanks very much. And apologies that I had to sit down for a lot. It is